The relationship between government and citizens in any progressive environment is important to its collective development, both socially, politically, and in economic terms. In democratic spheres, it is a fact that government is instituted by the people and accountable to the people. The people also in followership are also duty-bound to support the process of governance and demand accountability from those in offices. These symbiotic relations, which create stability within the polity, is enhanced by good channels of communication that fosters understanding between the governed and the government. Where it is inadequate or lacking, there could be misunderstandings that allow for misinformation and disinformation, and that can create a challenge, in some instances leading to chaos. This edition of Dateline 360 hopes to bring understanding to why it is necessary to communicate government policies and how it promotes good governance in outcomes. For an effective delivery of government policies, programs, and other activities geared towards national development, especially at the grassroots, adequate feedback mechanism has been identified as key to enhancing communication between government and the people. In this report for Dateline 360, Kenneth Nanim evaluates how an improved communication could champion policy implementation and compliance in Nigeria.
Removal of fuel subsidy was amongst tough economic policies by the current administration to resuscitate the economy for a better life for citizens. But the move has continued to receive a pushback from the masses, despite efforts by the government to cushion their impact. For instance, the proposed switch to the use of the CNG buses to ease transportation of goods and services across the country.
Costs have gone up, living costs, people are having challenges in feeding, because of the associated impact, on food items and all of that. So it is not useful to deny that fact. So as government, we are admitting that fact, and then we are pointing their attention to some of the interventions that government is making to bring about SUCO. And some of these interventions are in the public space. There's been distribution of food items, of palliatives. The CNG buses are gradually being rolled out. The CNG alternative to petroleum motor spirit in terms of conversion, is also being promoted.
The CNG initiative is one has come to stay. Government has invested heavily in that direction, and we know and we do hope that this is really going to be something that has come to stay for our country.
The place of effective communication between the government and the people is one question that readily comes to mind in a situation like this.
Whose responsibility is to ensure that the window of communication between government and the people is left open?
There are some policies of the federal government that we have been proactive in communicating to the public. For instance, before the Petroleum Industry Act became an act, we went around this country enlightening people on the various crucial points established in that act. And the idea was to get people to know what to expect, and we did this consistently.
For government to effectively communicate with the public, there is need to up our literacy level. That is one fundamental thing. Many times, government will come up with a policy that is laudable, but because of lack of communication, people may not understand it. If people didn't appreciate it, understand it, implementation will not be possible.
If you talk to the people, it means you are carrying them along. They need to know your program. What are you doing to ameliorate their problems? And that will instill confidence in them that actually the government is listening to their yearnings.
When these things are explained in detail, to the point where that you come down to the layman's, where they will get to know, okay, government, this is what we're about to do that will benefit the people. You understand? Then there won't be so much agitation.
There's no local government In most of this part you go now, or state, you will not see radio station or television station. It's part of bridging the gap. So government is trying.
Whenever you put out a policy, that policy disempowers a group of people and empowers another group of people. So already the stage is set for confrontation. So, but if you accommodate the interest of those that will be disempowered, and you don't just brush them aside and wave the right roughshod over their interest and all of that, then you reduce the reasons to fight and you create reasons to collaborate to achieve common good.
How well are the citizens carried along in their policies and decision-making processes, especially those at the grassroots, to ensure that government and the people are on the same page regarding adequate implementation and compliance to policies and programs?
Another reason why I think that people may not accept public policy is lack of trust. To be very fair, we've had issues where people come and they make promises with what they intend to do with these policies, and we never see the totality of the implementation. We then build a system that do not allow for trust. When we are informing the masses of these current policies, it should be publicized in our ethnic languages, right? Repeatedly. We have Hausa, we have Yoruba, we have Pidgin, repeatedly.
How proactive are relevant stakeholders to ensure chains of communication are not broken? And when such happens, what are the best practices being deployed to ensure things do not go out of hand?
The major point scored in all of this is that if government policies and programs and other activities should be well communicated to the people for adequate implementation and compliance, government and the people should be hand in gloves. Kenneth Nan reporting for Dateline 360.
Now, from that national perspective, we go to the states. To the extent of fostering trust, promoting development, and ensuring that policies address the real needs of the people, Tayo Osho examines how the government of Ekiti State communicates its programs and policies to the people and the benefits therein.
One of the focus of every government is to run a transparent and accountable government. However, this goal will not be achieved without effective communication between government and the grassroots. In Ekiti State, government officials actively engage with local communities, listen to their concerns, and incorporate their feedback into policy making, especially budgeting, through stakeholders' town hall meetings across the state. These have strengthened the bond between the state and its citizens, enhance public trust and cooperation, which is crucial for ensuring public support for government initiatives.
At every 100 days, we engage the people by way of giving an account of our stewardship and get a feedback from them as well. That is in addition to taking advantage of all the media landscapes, particularly both the electronics and the new print, taking advantage of the digital technology and in ensuring that we communicate with the people.
We like to know government vision, and government should be ready to give out information. They should be ready to disseminate information to members of the public. Because don't forget, the sovereignty belongs to the people, and the people gave their sovereignty to people in government, to people in political leadership through election. So there should be day to day, hour by hour, minute by minute, week by week dissemination of government activities back to the people.
The government of Ekiti State has also taken community communications further through the establishment of the Office of Community Communications, which is saddled with the responsibility of interacting with the grassroots to explain the benefits of government's policies and programs to them. The Office of Community Communications has also erected recreation centers named Bow Game Centers at strategic locations across the state to ensure smooth interface with the grassroots and also gather necessary information that will aid good governance and intelligence gathering.
We're able to measure our own activities or performances through the influx of requests
that we receive from communities, from groups, from individuals. Requests about community needs, requests about individual needs, requests about group and associations needs. So across Ekiti State, if there are communities in need of certain things from government that will aid their development, so they approach government through this office. So it means that we are connecting. The governor is truly on ground with the people.
It has positive effects on the life of our people. It brings joy, relaxation, unities, and cooperation.
Continue to inform members of the public the true situation of things. It will be better for government. And you will find out that members of the public, the government also will not agitate unnecessarily.
It is believed that when the people are well informed about government plans and decisions, they can hold officials accountable, ensuring that promises are kept and resources are used effectively. Respondents believe that effective communication between government and the governed will enable government meet the immediate needs of the people and also help in reducing corruption and mismanagement of public resources. In Ado-Ekiti, Tayo Osho for Dateline 360.
A method for digital literacy is a bot that you can use, you can interact to learn more about digital literacy.
Hello, it's our pleasure to have you join us on platform. I'm Ruth Aguwele.
What is the yardstick for measuring everybody's moral integrity? It's critical at this point in time.
How daunting has that been for the Institute in getting them abreast with all the legislative procedures?
The fact remains that one training workshop is not enough.
Harmony of biodiversity destroyed, birthing climate crisis and crying faces.
Dicey situation indeed, yet we carry on like a bull in a china shop.
On environment matters, we take the bull by the horns, comb the nooks and cranny of Nigeria.
Asking tough questions.
Examining challenges and opportunities.
Giving human face to the science, facts, faiths, and global agreements. It's a call for action. Don't miss it.
Join award-winning environmental journalist Jennifer Igwe and other NTA Eco reporters for Environment Matters.
And from Ekiti, we go to Borno, where Kaigama Mustafa reports on the state government's communication strategies, particularly to reach the people directly. He also brings up the gaps to effective communication, as well as recommendations for improvement.
The Borno state government employs both conventional and unconventional methods to communicate with its citizens, including public pronouncements, announcements, press releases, and online media handles. The state is subdivided into 3 senatorial districts, 28 state assembly constituencies, which Bama has 2 representatives, and 27 local government areas, each with its unique demographics and political leaders. The Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, Professor Usman Tar, highlighted the ministry's efforts in creating public relations departments and online media handles to disseminate information to diverse ethnic groups, where traditional rulers also play a crucial role in communicating citizens' aspirations to the government.
So communicating with the different generations, the younger generation, 65%, between the old and the young generation, between government and the younger generation, between government and the older generation, but also gender dynamics, communicating with women and other vulnerable groups. It also requires a technical method of communicating. When you communicate effectively with your audiences, voters, citizens, or old people or women, on specific policy issues, it will change the behavior of the people to be more friendly to government and to also understand the efforts of the government, but also where there are constraints.
The chairman of Nigerian Union of Journalists, Borno State, Dauda Ilya, emphasized the need for a comprehensive media strategy to bridge the gap between government policies and public awareness. He recommended investing in media to showcase the state's 25-year development plan and 10-year strategic framework, engaging stakeholders and translating policies into local languages.
How effective is these radio stations? Are they effective? Are they on air? Are they being funded properly so that they will be able to transmit at least maybe 12 hours or 24 hours? They will have direct communication link because the citizens will also be communicating through the radio stations. They will be airing their views, and government will also be communicating the policies directly to the people.
When the government communicates to the citizens about the policy direction of the administration, and the citizens don't see that what the government is doing is in their best interest, then there will be a problem. The impact of good communication will show that will bring about trust of government activities. It will show that the government or the public institution concerned is transparent.
To sensitize, to enlighten, to create awareness to the public, more especially people at the grassroots, on government policies, on government programs, and on government activities.
The state government operates Borno Radio and Television Corporation, BRTB, and community radio stations in various local government areas to facilitate direct communication with citizens. It is also taking advantage of the wider reach of federal government-owned media establishments that are playing a pivotal role in translating government policies and programs on a global scale. Stakeholders advocate the need for government to brief citizens of its activities on a monthly basis and hold town hall meetings to strengthen its feedback mechanism, as well as engage experts to translate policies into local languages. Experts also posit that strengthening traditional and new media to project government policies and programs, including providing feedback mechanisms for civil society organizations and community leaders, will impact significantly in government's transformative initiatives. This effective communications is vital for good governance in Borno State. The state government must address the challenges and implement recommendations to enhance public trust, engagement, and inclusive governance. Kaigama Mustafa reporting for Deadline 360.
The imperative for transparency in a democracy, political commentators have identified as crucial to good governance delivered through clear communication. Political analysts say it is a demonstration of accountability when government shares information, explains decisions, and provides regular updates to the people. In Anambra State, Onome Okadibo reports that the government, by prioritizing effective communication, says it has been able to build trust and promote citizens' participation in unlocking economic potentials in the state.
When the government communicates clearly, consistently, and transparently, it sends a powerful message. We value you, we hear you, and we are accountable to you. This gives the people a sense of belonging and full participation in governance. Some public analysts said for government to effectively communicate and have impact on the public, their message should embrace transparency, credibility, participation, feedback, crisis management, accessibility, and eliminating the barriers of bureaucracy.
All that is required from all the media agencies, the leadership, the headship, is to be a little bit of objective in reporting the news item of government and finding a way of having a feedback mechanism to the government as regards the feeling of those that are being led.
When the public do not have the information that they are supposed to have, they will start raising questions, and invariably, if it's not arrested, it will even lead to protest. That is why government establishes communication links with the public, because it is the public that the government serves.
If you want information to be passed across to those that are the needed or expected beneficiary of that policy, give it to journalists. Allow the journalists, call them for briefing, intimate the journalists about the politics. They will be the people to take it down to the grassroots.
I believe that by the time the autonomy of the government is being fully granted, the information will pass freely well from the national to down level. Otherwise, if it continues to be as it were, the information will stop somewhere.
The Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment, Anambra State, Paul Nwosu, said as a result of literacy level in the state and use of conventional and non-conventional media, the state has been able to address the challenges of communicating with the public.
When we have policies we want to communicate to our people, of course, we engage, the media through radio and television.
He further said effective communication has addressed specific challenges in the state.
If we have information to communicate to the grassroots, of course, that we do through the Igwe or the President General, who in turn will engage town criers, to go to the nooks and crannies of this community. They know their communities well.
Stakeholders say effective communication can be the game changer that brings people together and reassures the citizen of their safety. In Oka, Onome, Okadibu for Dateline 360.
We all have a role to play in ensuring effective communication between and among government and the people. It is necessary for government to ensure good communication flow about its activities to citizens, and on the other hand, citizens must see themselves as part of governance and seek its efficiency through elaborate collaboration. That is it for this edition of Dateline 360. I am Omotola Omojola, thanking you on behalf of the production crew. God bless Nigeria.